difference, one cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time, making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time, time.
Well, welcome everybody. It is evening tea time. And yes, we are 1 hour later, but guess what? I have an incredible guest. I have Christine Krauss in the studio, and she's a full-time essential service worker, a mom to two beautiful kids, children's author, animal foster care mom, and a new owner of an Airbnb. We're going to talk about it all tonight on Tea Time. That's right. We're going to do something a little different. We're going to spill a good, strong tea. So grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your glass of juice, glass of wine, beer. You do not need to drink tea on Tea Time with Miss Liz. So let's get started here and let's get Christine in the studio in a couple of seconds. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live show. Miss Liz myself is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any Tea Time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forward dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the giving time of airing. All Tea Time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussions for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to note that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in the show tonight in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that the show is not made for you at this time, I respect those wishes and will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, all Tea Time shows are done on Thursday this year in 2023. And if it's on a different day than Thursday, it's a rescheduled show or it's a special guest or surprise guest, because that's just how we roll here. We just slide in some teas once in a while. And some guests just want to come back and they're like, right now, I need tea. So we're serving tea. So a little bit on Christine. Christine is a full-time essential service worker and mom of two primary school-age children. Her kids enjoy choosing books from the school library and always generally impressed with the messages of acceptance and kindness in the stories they select for us to read together. During the pandemic, they had to get creative to keep their home an exciting and positive space that they wanted to spend a lot of time at. Her entire family loves animals, so they decided to foster a litter of kittens over the Christmas holidays. They brought so much joy into their lives that they plan to continue to foster animals as much as possible. Then they saw Teddy, and we'll be talking about Teddy tonight. Teddy just belonged with our family, and we knew in that moment we met him. Since that day, he has made their family very complete and unique, and the characters have inspired a series of stories that we hope to share with other avid avid child readers that love animals. Now, let me get Christine in here and let me grab a sip of my tea here. So let me pop her in. Welcome, Christine.
Hello, Miss Liz. Thank you so much for having me.
It is an honor to have you here. And we were talking in the background, having some good old giggles and good stuff. So we're going to keep on doing that for the next hour. So anyone that is tuning in or watching the replay, please push hashtag replay. Check out the YouTube channel, give that a quick subscribe. And we're going to let Christine share a little bit. So, Christine, I'm going to start off like I start off every tea time. Who were you as a little girl and who are you now?
Oh, as a little girl, I was awkward and clumsy and um, I don't know, just always struggling to fit in, I think. And now, as a woman, I feel more confident and accomplished. And um, yeah, I care less about what people think. Because,
I think that comes with age.
yeah, I think so.
We were talking about that in the background, our ages, right? Uh,
Yes.
you just get to a certain part in life and you're just like, who cares, right? Let's just do it.
Yes.
So, Christine, I want to get into you shared some good news in the background, and I want to get into that before we get into Teddy. So, you just opened an Airbnb.
Yes, I did. It's been 2 years in the making. I bought a piece of land out in the woods and we had to bring in power and water and all of these infrastructure. And I designed the house on graph paper. Everything is 100% my vision. And I've worked so hard to get to this point. And I just finished it on Monday and I have guests arriving this Friday and I'm excited and nervous and scared and all of the emotions. But ultimately, my goal was to have something local that people could escape to, that didn't take hours to drive to, and then also um, something affordable where families could just escape from the city and relax in the peacefulness and enjoy the luxury of the Airbnb, which is called Serenity now.
And I love the name. And I've been checking out the pictures. You did an amazing job. Like, it is gorgeous. So if anybody's in that area, check her out. Like, it's just beautiful. But we were saying in the background that it's a lot of fear that comes with it as well, right?
Yes, yes. Fortunately, the city that I built this home in is called Hope, which really I love this because I am hopeful that my risk is going to pay off, and I'm hopeful that people will respect the home. And I always have the hope that you know people can enjoy this space and just have a getaway with their family and make memories. So.
I think it's really cool. And for anybody that's listening that doesn't know what an Airbnb is, could you share a little bit about what that is?
Oh, sure. An Airbnb is where people can rent your home for 1 to as many nights really as they want. Up to 14 nights usually is typical. And they get to enjoy everything that you have to offer. So my Airbnb, I want to encourage people to cook and bake and eat around the harvest table and relax and play board games and just kind of unplug, even though I have fabulous Wi-Fi and it's really fast. So if someone does need to work, they can go there. There's a hot tub and a sauna, and it's near the mountains, so people can go skiing and hiking and fishing and ice skating and all those fun activities. And yeah, I've also created a bunk room for children, and in the bunk room, it features a bunch of paintings of local wildlife that my mom made, and I hung them up in the room, and it's super fun for kids. And there's also a wall with all the original Teddy cover artwork framed on the wall with the books there, so families can read about Teddy and learn about Teddy's story.
So we're talking about Teddy, and Teddy is in the back of you. And so, was there different covers when they first came out, Christine?
No, this was the vision, and it was communicated very well. And the artist Sierra Van Ness captured exactly what I was describing. So she nailed it the first try. And so those are the original paintings in the home, and I just think it's kind of a cool connection.
So you have four books. Is there a fifth coming?
Um, the fourth is being released in December. And I think that's kind of the final book in this series that is a true story. So the books kind of writ themselves because these are just experiences that we had with the cat and questions that people would ask us and things we discovered along the fostering journey. I do have other stories in me, but I think I just need to pause for a little while because I've been so busy with the books and the Airbnb and the contracting and building and my full-time job and my children, of course, and my pets.
Right, you have two little kids still.
Yes.
So, Christine, what book came out first?
Teddy Loses His Ears is the original story so that people can relate to Teddy as a lovable character and understand what happened to him. Because when I first got Teddy, when I was looking at Teddy on the fostering website, he just looked like a very angry cat. And it's because he lost his ears and he's been through some trauma. But we decided to take a chance on Teddy because we figured he definitely could use a second chance after what he had been through. He had lost his ears to frostbite because he was stuck outside in Saskatchewan in negative 50-degree weather. And he was found by a cowboy named Evan. And I've actually connected with Evan and his wife on Facebook. And I got the letter he wrote to the rescue organization with Teddy's story. And I was able, when I decided that Teddy's story needed to be shared for awareness, I was able to track back all these people, and I've made so many friends through this process who has filled in some of the gaps. And yeah, it's honestly been a blessing, and it was destiny. I honestly believe that Teddy found his way to me, and his story was meant to be shared.
So, how old is Teddy?
So, in the newest book, Teddy Visits the Vet, we learn a lot about Teddy because Teddy had never been to a vet before. And when you're fostering animals, oftentimes they don't have a lot of information on the animals. I mean, they may just be rescued from a dump or, they don't know a lot about the history. So, we discovered. So, on the paperwork, it said Teddy is a male cat and approximately 3 years old and frostbite injuries. That's all I knew. So when I took Teddy to the vet, they actually were able to measure Teddy's teeth and determined by the length of his teeth that he is an adult cat and between the ages of approximately 7 and 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pet care teaching things in these stories mixed in with like layers of messages that children seem to get. So each story is about a cat, but the cat is relatable and he acts like a human and he has human interactions. And I feel like kids can learn a lot about Teddy, and the feedback I've gotten on these stories, because they are such multi-layered plots, has been really positive.
Yeah, my son found the word, and that's why the word is in the video. Let me find it here. Antro- Anthropomorphism is actually animals that act like human beings. So that's why I put that in the video, is because my son said, Mom, Teddy's like, that's what he's doing. He's gone to the vet. He eats spaghetti. You know, so I was like, oh, okay. I've never heard of the word. So I learned a little bit when I did the research on that. So, and
That
that's why,
was
and that's
all
why we,
educating.
right?
So thank you.
I learned so much. Like when I have guests, sometimes I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm learning something here too, you know.
That's what it's all about, sharing stories and learning from each other. And that's why I'm sharing Teddy's story as well. Teddy's very much a cat who kind of acts like a dog, but Teddy, I with him losing his ears, I tried to relate it to maybe someone who has experienced something, a visible disability, and it's his feelings of like, am I going to be accepted now? I look different. He looks in the mirror and he feels sad, and he has all these emotions that go along with it. And so all of the stories are actually quite emotional. I've been told that their kids have cried, but then at the end they were happy because it was a happy ending and Teddy has his loving family. So
But I think it opens a lot of doors, right, Christine? Because it shows that even the animals can be looking different and they still want to be accepted as well, right? When you're fostering animals, a lot of them come with a lot of scars and bruises and, you know, lost limbs and stuff like that. Uh, so how did you find Teddy? Like, did you find him online? Did somebody send you a message? Like, how did you find Teddy?
Yes. So I was fostering mostly kittens with the Heart and Soul Dog and Cat Rescue Organization in Abbotsford. And the kittens were a lot of fun. It sure made Christmas very, very joyful in our home over COVID. And because the kids, like we had lost a dog a few months prior to that, and the children were devastated, and we weren't ready to commit to another pet yet. But I just thought if we foster the animals, the children are aware we're not keeping them. We get to name them, we get to play with them, we get to learn about them, and we get to post little biographies about the cats for the fostering website so people can choose to adopt those animals later. And we're going to give them back. And the kids knew that. So getting knowing that the kittens were going to be adopted out to other families made it a lot easier for them. So once those kittens left, I was going to take a little break and deep kittenify the funky smell in my house. But I was scrolling through the Heart and Soul website because they always need fosters to relieve the burden, because there's so many animals that need rescue, and there's just not enough space. Shelters are often overcrowded and full, and what they're trying to prevent the animals from being euthanized. And most of these animals have gone to several different shelters already and have not found their families. So fostering is a really, really important way to help. And it's also, if you are thinking about getting a pet, it's a really great way to try out the pet and determine whether it's a good fit for your family. And these rescue organizations will provide you with absolutely everything that you need in the way of like food, litter boxes, leashes, kibble, and all that sort of stuff. So it really doesn't cost you anything except time and love. So where was I going with this? I just started rambling, and then I
No, that's okay. I like ramble conversations, you know, because I don't like these. Yep, okay. Because then I got to dig deeper. I got to work harder, right? So I like when my guests just open up. I just sit back. I enjoy my tea, and that.
Oh,
So,
I remember you asked me, how did I find Teddy? So Teddy was among a bunch of animals that they were like, please, these animals haven't had anyone a volunteer to foster them yet. A ton of them did, but there was still the odd animal who no one had committed to yet. And if the animal doesn't get a committed foster, they don't get on the transport truck to BC. So I don't want to think about what happens to those animals if someone doesn't help out. So I said to the kids, I said, oh, what do you think of this cat? He looks kind of angry, and he might pee all over the house. I mean, he's been through some stuff, right? And the kids are like, oh, please, we got to give him a chance. So that's when I volunteered to foster Teddy. And boy, I prejudged this cat negatively. And this is a part of the lesson, is that this cat is wonderful. And it is the second I was given the cage with the cat from the rescue organization, I opened it up and Teddy jumped out and gave me a literal hug and snuggled with me, and we like imprinted immediately on each other.
so it was meant to be.
It was 100% meant to be.
Well, and that's it. And you just said it, Christine, right? We prejudge even animals before we say, yeah, oh, you know, the energy in that. And then as soon as they come, it's like instant, melts your heart. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry for judging you, you know, come here, you know. I encourage people, because there are so many animals that are in shelters. If you're looking for a pet, you know, check it out. I've never heard of the Heart and Soul. So how did you find out about them?
Well, I saw on Facebook that a friend of mine was fostering kittens. And so I said, well, how do I get involved with this? And then she sent me the link, and I joined the Facebook group. And then from there, they post when they have intakes of animals, and you can just volunteer. And there's they do a little bit of a reference check just to make sure your home is suitable and that sort of stuff. But for the most part, it was a really easy process. And I felt grateful to be involved, because these volunteers are true heroes. They drive, across 3 to 4 provinces to rescue animals and give them a second chance. And they work tirelessly. And I don't even know how these people have a full-time job and then do this, because this really is a full-time job for them. And it's all volunteer. They just do it out of the kindness of their hearts. And it's quite admirable. And Teddy Gets Adopted is kind of an homage to these heroes. And it kind of tracks Teddy's journey from Saskatchewan to BC and the people he met along the way. And I tried to honor those people as well, because they really made this happen.
So you have Teddy Loses His Ears. Then you have Teddy Gets Adopted.
Oh, no, then it's Teddy Loves Spaghetti. Because
the spaghetti comes before the adopted.
Yeah, before we adopted Teddy, we were just fostering him and discovered that he loves pasta. And I've had cats my whole life, and I have never seen one eat pasta before. It's just so weird.
So does he like spaghetti?
Oh, he doesn't just love spaghetti. He attacks spaghetti, macaroni and cheese, these different things. But of course, I wanted to research. Just because your cat likes spaghetti doesn't mean he should eat spaghetti. It may not be good for him. So I wanted to research some of the ingredients that could be harmful to our cats. And then it just kind of spiraled into a story about how to look for signs in diabetes on your cats. And then also it's a story about nutrition for kids and alternatives to food-based rewards, because I also was quite overweight after having both my children and that sort of thing. And it was a big struggle. And while I was on my journey to lose 100 pounds, I had to think of different ways to reward myself that didn't include food, because that seems to always be our go-to. So I kind of wanted to teach that to children in relation to pet care. And then also there's friends at your school who, like my nephew, has type 1 diabetes. So he has to wear an arm port to monitor his sugar levels throughout the day. So I wanted to educate children a little bit on diabetes awareness in pets and people.
I think that's really cool how you did that. I just got diagnosed with diabetes too. And I think that that's really important that we educate. And looking at the storybooks, you wouldn't think that that's what the stories are about,
Yeah, you don't think there's so many deep emotions and feelings and stuff in them, because they just seem fun. It looks like something a book that a child would want to grab and read, but then they might be surprised. The families who read them together would be surprised. And there's lots of opportunity for discussion with your children on these topics.
I think it's really cool what you did, Christine, because it bedtime stories is a good time for conversation, or even evening stories, grandparents and parents sitting down with their little ones, reading a story and having that open conversation and getting them educated at the same time. So for each book, you've actually brought in good discussions, like educational discussions. So, yes. And so Teddy Loses His Ears. So what kind of discussion is in that book for the little ones?
Probably just Teddy's emotions about how he now looks different, and fielding all of these questions from other friends, like, can you still hear? What happened to your ears? And Teddy felt a little bit like they were making fun of him, but actually they were just asking him questions to learn his story, because everybody has a story, and the only way we can grow and learn from one another is to ask those questions and understand from somebody else's perspective and experiences. And so I hope to teach kindness to children with this story, and that it's okay to ask those questions as long as it comes from a place of love. It's better than whispering theories behind somebody's back about what may have happened. And then, so Teddy learns to love himself despite his injury, and goes on to have a happy life regardless.
So we have a couple questions here for you, Christine. The first one is, can Teddy hear? Yes,
Teddy can hear very, very well. So it's It's like a dog. I could call him, and if he's 20 miles away, he'll still come running. So yeah, he has very, very good hearing. I just have to keep his ears cleaner because he doesn't have the little flaps to maybe keep the dirt out. So I don't trim his like ear whiskers or anything, and just a little bit of oil and Q-tips just to keep it clean. But not a lot of extra effort.
So he can still hear, like he's really good. Like, is
Good.
it the whole ear that's gone, Christine, or is it like partial ear?
Teddy has little tiny nubs, and he looks like a teddy bear.
Oh.
Which is partially how he got his name.
So did you give him the name Teddy?
No, Teddy came with that name. And how the books actually came about is because when the cat went after the pasta, I was like, oh my God, Teddy loves spaghetti. And then I was like, that's a really great name of a book. And so then I decided, instead of releasing that book, I need to backtrack and tell Teddy's story first. So we went with Teddy Loses His Ears.
So the second question we have for you, is there kitty pasta out there?
Is there a kitty pasta? Oh, you know what? I think someone should invent one, like a tuna casserole or something. But I don't think there's specifically a pasta that's good for anybody, really. Like,
yeah, we're not even supposed to have the pasta, guys. We're supposed to get away from the pasta.
Yeah.
It just bloats us and makes us all swollen.
And yeah.
So, how did you do the research? Like for Teddy eats spaghetti. When you went to the vet with Teddy, did you mention the spaghetti, and did they say that it was good? It wasn't good? Like,
I actually didn't mention the spaghetti to the vet, but I mostly was more concerned about the sauce, the ingredients, because I put onions in my spaghetti sauce and lots of vegetables, and onions are actually really highly toxic to animals, and just as though grapes and chocolate are toxic to dogs. So I only gave a few examples in the stories and just encouraged people to do the research on their own, as well as researching food labels for themselves and reading those nutrition labels. So that's kind of what the book is about, is making sure you research what your pet needs and what is healthy for your pet and for yourself.
So what's in the onions that makes it toxic?
Well, gosh, I just don't know. That's a very scientific question.
I'm just learning that now. Like, I would have never expected onions to, because we put onions on our feet when we're sick, when we got a cold.
Yeah.
So I guess
so technically you would think that it would be healthy for everybody, but cats are strictly carnivores, and we dive into the definition of omnivores and carnivores in the book and kind of dissect those terms for children so they can assimilate them a little bit better, and understand that cats should strictly eat meat. They really should not have anything else.
Oh, I'm learning so much tonight on this tea time. I'm just like, oh, okay. Because I do buy the cat food for my cat, and it has the vegetables in it. So is that a good thing, or is that not a good thing?
There's a cat food with vegetables in it? I'm surprised. I mean,
it's the little green cans. I don't even know what the name of it is called. I can't think of it, but it's got carrots and stuff in it.
Well, I guess those pet food makers have determined that vegetables would also be okay. Because I know with dogs and stuff, when they have an upset stomach, you would give them a can of pumpkin and that would soothe their tummy. So yeah, I guess it's okay.
Well, I'm gonna double check now, because I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm worried about my baby, because that's my baby, like that's my child. And she's like a dog too. Like, she gives me high five for her treats and all of that stuff.
Oh my God, I love it.
Animals are just like kids. Like, you got to really open up and get to know them. They each have their own characters. So is there something that Teddy does that just amazes you besides eating pasta?
Teddy sleeps with me, and Teddy will wrap his paw around my finger and we'll hold hands at night, like all night while we sleep.
Oh, wow.
He's just so cute.
He's a love bug.
Yes. And Teddy also, because of his injuries to the frostbite, he can't really purr. I think maybe he had some respiratory issues from the freezing cold, but he is a very happy cat, despite not being able to purr.
See, we're learning
Sometimes you
so
could,
much out there. Like, the frostbite causes, like, the lack of but I guess the coldness, right? It affects all of their organs and that as well. Like, how
Mhm.
long was Teddy out? Do you know, like, how long he was out in the cold or?
I do not know how long he was out there, but I know it took almost a year for him to recover from his injuries with me. He had very chapped paw pads, so I would put coconut oil on those because it's safe if he licks it off, and it did do wonders to heal his paw pads. And he was very sore, like his muscles were very, very sore, probably from being frozen and just kind of atrophied maybe. So Teddy did not like to be pet in certain areas of his body, which we learned about and respected that. But now Teddy doesn't seem to mind. I can touch Teddy anywhere on his body, and he seems to enjoy it as opposed to being in pain. So,
Well, it's just like what you said, right? Maybe he was in pain and now that it's all healed because we don't see what's underneath the fur, right?
that's right.
So when you brought Teddy, he lost his ears, then he got the spaghetti, then he got adopted. So what's the message in the Teddy gets adopted?
In Teddy Gets Adopted, I encourage children to be helpers in their community. And I also like to educate, mostly in this story, about becoming a foster parent to animals and encourage adoption because there's a lot of wonderful animals that need a home. And it was also to pay tribute to the heroes who helped Teddy. And there's a geographical component in this story as well. So children can see a map of Canada and they'll see where the van picked Teddy up, and all the rescue organizations are that Teddy visited are highlighted along the way. And I created QR codes for those rescue organizations so that people can donate if they feel a connection to that organization in their area, because donations are always needed. And then also in this story, it talks about, like, you don't always have to help with money or even becoming a foster, because I know that's not feasible for everybody, but you can, like, I give options of what you can do. So maybe people can go and get extra blankets and towels that they're no longer using, or I don't know, if they get donations, like sometimes pet food companies, I just recently got a couple cans of dog food in the mail as a sample. I collect those things up and donate them if you can. Baby bottles and just bowls, extra bowls, or it's all sorts of things. Old pet carriers. I mean, all of that stuff is very, very welcomed at the rescue organizations, as well as money. Obviously, is the best thing, but for children, they don't have that. So I'm trying to encourage them to think of ways that they can be helpers.
I think that's really incredible what you've done with these books. Like, I want to grab all of these books for my granddaughter and, like, kind of have a story time with her. She's going to be 3 in March, and I think so. What age range are the books good for?
Yes, I have children as young as 2 years old who love these stories, and they will not go to bed without having their parents read them a Teddy story. And the parents send me pictures of their kids hugging them tight. It's just adorable. But I usually test out these books on my children who are 8 and 10. And we have a lot of friends in the neighborhood who are 12 years old, and they love the stories. And they're if there's a birthday party, I'm like, what do you want for your birthday? They're like, I want the newest Teddy book. So it really, adults love these books. So it really is appealing for all ages, whether you're reading it to your child or letting your child read it to you.
I think that it's really important that you said that, Christine, because it's the little kid in us. Like, we want to read children's books too.
Of course.
So, Christine, do you have any plans of making like a teddy bear out of
Oh my
Teddy?
God, I actually have one. I just took it to the Airbnb. It was sitting here on my desk.
Oh,
I made only 10 stuffies of Teddy, and the stuffy of Teddy is holding Teddy's favorite toy, which is at home. It's the tag says Fat Mouse, but Teddy is so playful still as an adult. He throws this mouse up in the air and bats it around and plays with it. And it really is the only toy this cat likes. So we have incorporated that in each story. So on every single page of every book, there is a hidden mouse for children to seek and find.
oh, well, look at that.
Yeah, we just like incorporating all the truth about Teddy. And then, So, and make it more fun for kids. And I know children also like Easter eggs. I don't know how old your children are, but mine are.
Mine are in their 30s.
Oh, well, okay, so
I'm giving my age away. Sorry.
Well, hey, we're almost the same age. I was just a geriatric mom.
Yeah.
So, oh, again, I lost my train of thought.
No, that's okay.
Sorry.
It's old. We're youngins.
Yeah, I know, right? Plus, I had a massage after work, and I feel like I might still be a little bit punch drunk from that.
The reason why I asked about the teddy bears is because I think it would be cool to have the book and then the teddy bear, right? As like a Christmas gift for
I
the
really
little ones
do
out there.
well. So hopefully once I have all 4 books and it's a complete set, maybe that would be an option for people to buy the whole set and eventually. But also the illustrator Sierra Van Ness created me some jewelry, and she hand painted Teddy on this necklace, and it's gorgeous. I wish I had it right here so I could show you. And so I thought, well, maybe even like a necklace or something like that would be fun for kids with their character on it. And I was telling you backstage before the show that I had a parent, actually a grandparent, reach out to me yesterday through Facebook Messenger on the Adventures of Teddy on Facebook. And she told me that her granddaughter's class at school, their assignment is to pick their favorite character from a storybook and carve it and bring their pumpkin in to school and then talk about it. And she was very excited to tell me that her granddaughter chose Teddy to be her pumpkin carving character. And so I cannot wait to see photos of that.
I think that'll be really cool. Like
Oh,
that is really creative, right? These kids are so creative that they can open their eyes and just see the uniqueness in Teddy, that they want to share it with other people, especially on a pumpkin. I think that's going to be cool. I can't wait to see the pictures myself.
Right? And you know what? Actually, when I was a kid, I think almost every year, a pumpkin and pin the triangle ears on. So I just saved her a step. She
Right?
doesn't have to put ears on Teddy.
You do A, B, and forget C.
That's right.
When you've carved pumpkins, Christine, are you like just a triangle kind of type, or do you go like really creative? Do you start carving in there, sculpting?
Yeah, so we have a tradition of carving as many pumpkins as we can because we have the scariest house on the street. So depending on how many pumpkins my kids bring home from school, yeah, we start out with some of the stencils and we do some pretty great artwork. And then sometimes if I still have 3 or 4 pumpkins left over, I'm like, it's just triangle eyes, scary face, because yeah, that's not my favorite part. Usually my job is separating all the seeds and then roasting the pumpkin seeds while the family eats pizza or Scarios and carves pumpkins while we listen to Halloween music.
And how is Teddy during Halloween? Is he good?
Oh yeah, Teddy is a very social cat, and even if I have a house full of people, Teddy's right there in the middle, just checking everyone out. And but normally, it's really important to keep your pets inside at Halloween because there's a lot of fireworks and things, and it can be scary for a lot of animals. Teddy just happens to be really brave.
So, Christine, you know a lot about animals because you've been fostering them. So, where do you get your research for the animals?
You know, there's a community on the Facebook page. So, I mean, if you have any questions, everybody in that fostering community and the rescue organization is going to give you information and help and assistance in any way that you can. So any questions that you have, you can just post it. And of course, Google is a great reference for people too. And also the rescue organizations cover the costs of the veterinarian care. There's a lot of pro bono veterinarians who will help out to give their vaccinations and stuff like that. So you can always take the animal to the vet, and the care is also covered.
So you were mentioning at the beginning of the show about his teat, and we're able to get his age. Is that how they give the ages out? Is through the teat? I thought it was through the paws.
Oh, interesting. Well, he didn't do that with Teddy. He mostly looked at the teeth. And I just thought it was really interesting. And in Teddy Visits the Vet, which is the final story that kind of brings it all together, kids can learn what a vet does. He's a doctor for all sorts of animals. And Teddy experiences some fear because Teddy has never been to a doctor or a dentist before. And oftentimes children are a little bit scared to see the doctor or the dentist the first time as well. So, you know, if you have, again, I encourage children to ask questions to a trusted adult who's bringing them to their appointments. And we teach them a lot of terminology, like what a thermometer is, what a stethoscope is, and what the doctor is doing and why. And then also checking the teeth, just like them when they go to a dentist. It's to be healthy. And part of the story is a bit of a surprise ending. And I remember now, that was my point with the Teddy Gets Adopted. I hid an Easter egg somewhere in the book for children to find, to give them a clue about the surprise ending in Teddy Visits the Vet. And so in Teddy Visits the Vet, it just really celebrates inclusiveness and the qualities of your person that make you very, very special.
I think it's really cool what you've done with these books. Like I'm all excited about these books, and I'm just like, I'm learning so much tonight. For all my
Thank
listeners
you.
out there, if you're enjoying this tea time, share this tea time. Give the YouTube channel a quick subscribe. Check out the podcast stations and all of that. We do have a couple questions here, Christine. How many cats have you fostered?
So the first time was 4 kittens, and then it was Teddy, which I failed miserably because it was a foster adoption success. And then after that, I fostered a couple other moms and 11 more kittens all at once. And oh, it was so much fun. Like these kittens were jumping all over the boxes and in my office and knocking stuff over. And I sat there with my child for hours, just completely entertained by these kittens. It is so fun. Yeah. So 11 at one time, plus Teddy, plus the 2 moms. So 14 cats at one time.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It was a lot, but thankfully, like 8 of them left my care within 4 days. And then the other 2 and the mom, they weren't getting adopted, but we got the Cat Fae, which is a local business where they bring cats in that haven't found their homes yet, and they wander around this coffee shop. And you pay to go in and pet the cats and hopefully adopt a cat once you kind of connect with one. But you can also just go in there and enjoy some cat snuggles. And there's like tens of cats in there that you can just like hang out with and play with and enjoy your coffee and have a little snack. It's a great place. And so I followed up with them, and I do know that mom was adopted shortly after. So that makes me happy.
Wow. There's so many incredible things out there that I do not know about that I need to find out about. So it's like a kitty shop?
Yeah, but it's called the Cat Fae.
Well, look at that. I think that's pretty cool. Whoever came up with that, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't my idea, but I love it. And I've actually taken my kids there several times because it's just you get a 2-hour time slot, and it's just a wonderful way to spend a couple of hours.
Oh. And it's a good place to go on a date.
Oh, yes, I think so. I mean, and that's when you would determine, because pets are a good sense of character. So especially if it's like a first or third date or something like that, it's like, if he's like kind of iffy about the animals or the animals are iffy about him, yeah, it's a good way to weed them out. Red flag. Bye.
I think we're onto something here, Christine. I don't like cats. Oh, well, that's the end of this date.
Pretty much.
So have you adopted anything besides cats?
Well, recently we got a snake. That's the reaction I usually get.
I'm not a snake person. Can you tell? You gave me a panic attack. Like I'm just like, ooh, a snake.
Well, and this is what I love is because, again, people are judging snakes based on a fear. And snakes are actually a really, really great pet. They're so low maintenance. They're pretty chill. I don't know. It's worked out pretty well for us. And I don't know. Teddy does not like Peanut, the python. And
That's
the
a big
python
snake,
probably
isn't that?
a python will be like 6 feet long, and they live
I'm
about
like ready to
35
run.
years. So it is a big commitment. I already told my oldest child that when you move out, this is your pet. It's going with you, because I don't want to be 75 years old with a snake. Come on. I mean, I'm already that weird lady who vacuums her fake grass. I mean, I don't need people saying I'm the scary snake lady, with the rollers in my hair and my house coat, chasing kids off my front lawn. But yeah.
So how did you come about a snake?
Oh boy. It was a rainy January day. And of course, I'm building this Airbnb, so I have no money, but I'm constantly searching up fun, free things I can do with my kids. Well, in our town, they were having a reptile exhibit. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be really cool to check out scorpions and spiders and snakes and all sorts of carnivorous plants and stuff? So I actually wanted to get a Venus flytrap for my son because he wanted one for his birthday. So that's the place to go. And yeah, came home with a snake.
So how old is the snake, Christine?
The snake was a baby. She was 6 months old when we got her in, I think it was January, February, something like that. So she's almost a year old now, and she's about 3 feet long. And yeah.
Another good way to test if somebody. Right?
Oh man, the funny thing is I've had so many people say to me, I'm not visiting you anymore. I'm not coming in your house. And I'm like, well, they're like, aren't you afraid the snake's gonna eat your cat? And I'm like, well, I don't throw them into the ring and have like a death match. I mean, the snake is locked up in a cage very, very safely, and Teddy has no idea it's there. So
Has Teddy ever gone to the cage?
Well, not the cage, but one time Teddy was outside and I had Peanut around my neck, and then Teddy jumped on me and saw it. And Teddy was so scared, like petrified.
He was like
frozen.
me.
I'm like, oh my God, okay, put this snake away. For a month after that, Teddy would not jump on my husband's lap because he was wearing a belt. And she was freaking out. She's like pawing at it and like attacking it. Like, what is that? So it was very funny.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, Teddy comes first. Peanut can stay in the cage unless Teddy's outside.
So do you ever take Peanut out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I took Peanut out to the kids' school and visited both of their classrooms, and the kids were so interested in the snake, and they had a lot of interesting questions. And it's also a good thing because not a couple of the kids were a little bit nervous at first, but then they got to touch the snake and learn about the snake. And at the end of the day, they all thought it was really cool, and they all had the courage to hold it at least at one point or another. So I think it was a bonus for the kids. And I think the reason I am not afraid of snakes is because when I was in kindergarten, we had a boa constrictor as our class pet. And every day we would sit in a circle and the teacher would take the snake out, and the snake would like slither towards whoever it wanted to. And then that person was like the helper of the day.
Well, I think it opens a door, right? I brought my kids to the reptile zoo, and and I'm just like, ugh, Mama's scared, but I'm going because I know yous want to see it. So I try not to get scared, but so it's just the movement, I think, that catches me off guard, that I don't know what angle it's going because
Right.
of the way that it moves, right?
It's the articulated movements, and but it is so interesting watching the snake eat and like opening its jaw wide open and then articulating its whole body to like swallow it down and then molting its skin. And it's just the feel of the snake. A lot of people expect it to be slimy. It's not. It's completely dry and very, very smooth and soft. And yeah, I don't know. There's lots to not be afraid of.
So is there any plans of writing Peanut's story?
There are no plans, but it's all those things are always swirling around in my head, these ideas.
Well, I think your books are very educational, Christine, and it's amazing on how we can take a story and something that has happened in our life and changed our lives and bring it to other people to open up those eyes and the minds and all of that. I think is really cool what you've done. I want to get into your T because we're almost at the end here. So if I give you the letters TEA, what 3 words would you give me, Christine?
Teaching. So like more like pet care and just self-care. Listening and kindness. Because
So
that's
you want to tell me why you gave me those 3 words?
yes, because I think children are sponges and they can always learn, and the more we learn and we grow as people. So that's obviously very important to me. Kindness, because I feel like there's never enough of that. I wear a uniform at work, and today I was driving my vehicle, and a woman who's probably my age was innocently walking down the street, and as soon as she saw the marked car, she sticks her tongue out at me, fingers me, and then I could still see her flailing her arms in the background, like after my cruiser's like blocks away, and she's still fingering and gesturing, and I'm just like, what happened to you? Like, why are you so venomous of me? I'm just in a uniform, and fortunately for me, at the end of the day, I could take off my uniform and the things that like the bias that make people dislike me because of that uniform, but people don't always have the opportunity to unzip their skin if somebody is judging them based on their race or their skin color or their gender or their disability, right? People can't, people have the visible disabilities and things, and they don't always get that luxury that, so kindness is really important. And listening, just because, yeah, everybody has a story. And when we listen and ask questions, we can learn from their experiences and their perspectives. And I just, I feel like it's more inclusive. The more we know, the more we grow.
So I asked you a couple of questions as well before the interview started that nobody sees these questions, so nobody knows that they're coming. So I asked you, I asked you to describe yourself in 1 word, and you gave me the word sunshine.
Because everyone calls me sunshine because I'm always smiling. Not that I think it's necessarily a good thing to smile when things aren't okay, but that's just who I am. And people like my energy, and they I don't know, I hear this a lot from people, and I love that people are share their thoughts about you, because we often have negative self-talk. So when we hear what other people think of you from their perspective, it's really heartwarming, and it just helps you get through your day. Yeah. So I get nicknamed that a lot by my coworkers. So I do enjoy that.
I like it because I've never had sunshine before.
Oh,
I
good.
have sunshine now.
Oh, yes, you do.
I think it's incredible how words really make a difference and impact our lives as well. Because asking that question I get from some of my guests, that's a hard one, Miss Liz, to answer.
Mhm.
1 word to describe myself. Well, a lot of people go to the, words of strong, beautiful, inspiring, but I want you to really look within, right? I want you to look really strong. So when you gave me sunshine, and we had some, because you're on vacation or something, there was something, and I couldn't. So I was like, I need a word for Christine because the release goes out for the guests, and I had put kind, and you were okay with that. But I understand now why you were okay with it, because you're about kindness.
Yes.
So it resonated with you as well. So and then I seen sunshine, and I was like, no, I have to bring it up when we're alive because I want to know about the sunshine. So, and
I
then
wish
they
I was
asked,
on vacation. I was putting in so much time at that Airbnb, cleaning and getting things set up and assembling 10,000 pieces of furniture with an Allen key. Oh my God, my thumb was numb for like
no,
3
you did
weeks.
an
I just
awesome
got the
job.
feeling.
Like, everyone needs to go and check that Airbnb. Like, I mean, it is gorgeous. And I also asked you your favorite color, and you gave me robin blue.
Robin's egg blue, yes.
So why that?
It's just such a calming color. And I also really love a Bel Air. And the Bel Air that I want is like a 1957 Bel Air convertible robin's egg blue. And it's just such a beautiful car. So one day that will be my dream car. I hope to get it one day, or just even rent one and drive it. So in the Airbnb, I am trying to manifest this, and so all of the doors and all of the appliances are like a robin's egg blue color, because I wanted it to be a fun space. So
and Teddy's book has the robin blue on it.
Yes.
So
It's a beautiful wintry scene. Actually, all of the illustrations in the book really are spectacular. Each one is hand painted, which is very unique for children's stories. Most of them are graphically designed. So Sierra Van Ness has done an amazing job. And just the artistry just comes to life on the page, and it really brings the stories together.
So how long did it take to write each of the books, Christine?
You know, I just don't have a lot of time. So sometimes I'm just in bed, and like 10 minutes before I go to bed, I just jot a bunch of notes. And then eventually those notes turn into sentences. And then those sentences, as you've seen, can be very wordy and rambled on. So the job then is to condense it and simplify it to the least amount of words possible, still getting your message across. So I just would reread it until I had the wording perfect in my head. And so it really didn't take long, because they are true stories. The stories kind of presented themselves to me, and then I just kind of tried to tie in a bunch of other messages to the story to make it more complete.
So which one was the longest one to take?
I think Teddy Visits the Vet is the longest one, because I really wanted to make sure I had the proper pronouns and verbiage, and I really didn't want to make any mistakes with that. Yeah.
So what message would you like to give to everybody tonight with Teddy?
Oh boy. Just, you know what, reach out to somebody, because words do matter, and just compliment a stranger, or ask somebody maybe a little bit more in depth, instead of saying, oh, how are you? You okay? You know what? That doesn't really give them a lot of opportunity to talk. They're just going to agree. So maybe spend the time to get to know somebody and show them that you care, because it could completely turn somebody's life around.
So if anybody wanted to get these books, where could they get them?
Currently, they are all on Amazon worldwide. So .com, .ca, .uk. Yes, Amazon.com.
And if anybody wanted to reach out to you, Christine, how could they reach you?
They could reach me out on my website, ChristineKrauss.com. And you could message me through there. CMK Author is my Gmail. You could email me, or you could follow Teddy at home on The Adventures of Teddy on Facebook, and you can always send me a message there. But if you follow us there, you'll get to see pictures of Teddy at home. And on the website, there are coloring pages that you can print off for your children and maybe learn a little bit more about Teddy.
Oh, you brought up a good thing, because I have it down here, the coloring pages. So can people print them off and just color them? Do they send them back into you? Like, how does that work?
Oh my goodness, that's a great idea, Liz. I never even thought about that. I think maybe in the future, when I have a bit more time, I should have a coloring contest, and someone will win maybe a Teddy stuffy or something like that. Oh, you just gave me a good idea. Thank you.
You just never know, right? Where the conversation takes us.
Absolutely.
And when I seen the coloring pages, I was like, that is a really cool thing. Like, even a coloring book, you could put a coloring book together.
Oh
like,
yes. Wow. Thank you.
You know that
would have to be Sierra's. I think Sierra, because they're her illustrations, so she might have to publish a Teddy book for herself. Yeah.
Well, I think it might just open a door, right? And you just never know where Teddy's going, what adventure Teddy's going to take next. So I really want to thank you, Christine, for sitting and having tea with me tonight and just giving us a lot of information that I think it needs to be out there. We're not getting enough information. We need to really start researching and getting informed and getting committed to different community projects and stuff like that. So again, you said it was the Heart and Soul Rescue Farm?
The Heart and Soul Dog and Cat Rescue. But there's also canine advocates in Manitoba. There's Keen Cat Care in Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. There was SAFE, and that stands for Saving Animals from Euthanasia, in Edmonton. So there was a lot of helpers along Teddy's journey, and certainly you can find a rescue local in your area that could certainly use your help.
Well, thank you so much. So, for anybody out there that would like to know more, check your local communities for these rescue places for animals. And who knows, you might just find yourself your teddy, and have your adventures. So, again, Christine, thank you for sitting and having tea with me. Thank you to all the viewers and listeners. And thank you for everybody joining me this week on Tea Time with Miss Liz. And we'll do the same thing, same time, same place next week. And we do have a surprise guest that's coming on Monday. So stay tuned and put your guesses in and see if you know what guest is coming. So check out Miss Liz's Facebook page for all of that good stuff. And until then, I will see everybody next Thursday at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. with 3 new TEAs for all of you to enjoy.